Do you ever feel invisible? Do you often sense that you are getting the silent treatment? You continue to send text messages to a friend who is not replying back, or maybe you've not heard anything after what you felt was a fun time and the beginning of a very promising relationship. The truth is, being ignored by people is not a reflection of your negative personality traits. Instead, your subconscious habits drive people away from you. So let's jump to the reasons why you feel like you're being brushed aside. But before we take that jump, if you would kindly give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to promote more meaningful content. Now let's begin. Number 8. You are too quiet. Have you ever been to a social gathering where you just do not know what to say? While speaking less is not a bad trait, it makes us get silent treatments. Most overthinkers tend to remain quiet in social gatherings. They have a fear of judgment, or they just feel like they are not very prepared. All these thoughts lead them to be quiet in social gatherings, and so they get overlooked. If you are one of those, you need to work on your small talk. Let's not forget that these same people are not perfect in communication either. Also, it is not upon them to encourage others to talk. The truth is, when they talk to you but get some hasty reply in return, they feel rejected. As a result, they do not want to try it again. Now, instead of being like this for life, you can easily work on your communication skills to overcome your shyness. Remember that these people have also come unprepared just like you. You can always find a common interest and talk about it. If you are uncomfortable with sharing too much, you can always play inquisitive and ask the other person about his life or interests directly. It gives the impression of being approachable or interested in the conversation. Number 7, you criticize too much. While constructive criticism is always welcomed, people who criticize a lot are not well received. Now, we are not saying that you do this intentionally. It is just a part of your character that can easily be rectified. And we know that your objective is not to make your friends feel inferior. Rather, it is your caring personality that wants to correct their mistakes. Even if you have the best intentions for them, your consistent nature of criticizing people can force them to ignore you. No one is perfect, and we cannot even try to make people flawless by correcting their mistakes. Otherwise, you will soon become a pessimistic person who always gives negative vibes without even realizing it. People run or hide away from pessimistic people, as this situation is often draining for them. Criticism is part of human interactions, and you cannot completely suppress this habit. While it is an essential tool for personal development and growth, too much criticism can make you feel less valuable in society. If you really care for your friends and family, try to accept a few of their flaws so you do not always berate them. If something is bothering you, try to communicate it in a polite and friendly way. You can also do self-reflection by asking yourself if this attack or piece of advice was really necessary. If you have never criticized people and yet you feel ignored, you might be missing out on something. Well, the list does not end here abruptly. Head on to the next ones to know all the reasons why your habits drive people away. Number 6, you are self-centered. While it is not a direct attack on anyone, a self-centered nature can easily drive people away. Being overly self-centered in conversations is a frequent subconscious behavior that can alienate individuals. It conveys an impression that other people's feelings and opinions are unimportant when we just talk about ourselves. When we are talking too much about ourselves, we forget to demonstrate a real interest in others' lives or problems. It is one of the common practices of people who feel the need to adjust to society. When you feel inferior to others, you constantly want to prove yourself in front of others. In doing so, you keep on talking about yourself only to make other people bored. While you think you are the center of attention, the reality is that the other people are just engaged in their own thoughts, forcing themselves to listen to you. Sharing and listening should be balanced when we are communicating with people. As much as you want to share all your feelings, others want to talk about themselves too. We can easily build stronger communication skills and lower our risk of being brushed off by participating actively in conversations and listening to others' experiences and feelings. Number 5, you have an overbearing nature. While an overbearing nature might look charismatic at first, it can be extremely negative if you have a habit of it. Your dominating nature might be alluring at first, but it can easily suffocate people and they might not want to talk to you. Not that we are saying your overbearing presence is completely toxic, but you will have to modify it a bit. No one likes constant commands all the time. Now, we know that you sincerely care for people and you want your work to be perfect. Also, most of the time, you do not even mean to be bossy, but it does come off as rude behavior. It leads people to block out your instructions. Every person craves personal space and autonomy. So even if you're right, you cannot meddle with them all the time. Luckily, there is quite an easy way you can drive people towards you while maintaining your overbearing behavior. You will just need to modify it a little bit. Try to give people the freedom to make choices and respect their opinions too. You can try becoming supportive in most situations rather than bombard them with your demands. This way, they will find you helpful and not ignore you. If this trait does not work for you, here is another one to modify. This will definitely drive people away, and I bet you never saw it coming. Number 4, you ignore boundaries. When we care for people a lot, we want everything to be perfect in their lives. So we give them opinions about everything. In no time, we do not realize that we have knocked on the door of their personal boundaries. No matter how close a person is to you, he will always maintain a certain boundary, and he would never want you to cross that. The truth is, each person has a different type of comfort level. Some people are extremely private about their relationships, while others do not want to discuss their work. Each of us has some part of our personal life that we do not want to discuss. So, no matter how much you care for a person, you cannot invade someone's personal space every time. It makes them avoid you because you can easily make them feel uncomfortable or disrespected. If you really care about a person, it is better to respect and honor his personal limitations so you can easily build trust. Also, you can give advice only in certain situations. This way, your presence will be valued. With that, let's move on to the next subconscious habit. Number 3, you try too hard. If you have an extremely quiet or shy personality, we know it would be like being trapped in a snake pit for you to buddy up. This is why some people try too hard to strike up a friendship. In doing so, rather than befriending them, they drive people away. When people try to talk forcefully, they mostly sound desperate or needy. Then they try to do everything they can, and so now they sound a bit clingy. Not everyone knows the reason behind your desperation or your shy nature, so they ignore you. Also, most people sound fake when they try too hard, and the truth is you cannot always hide fakeness. People will eventually notice it and they will not want to talk to you. If you really want to make good friends, the secret is to be real. Just be who you are, and in no time, you will make a connection. If you are still not resilient enough to talk about your private life, just discuss worldly affairs or movies. Trust me, these two topics always work. Number 2, you look unapproachable. Body language says a lot. While you might not be the rudest person if you talk with an off body language, people may think of you as an unpleasant person and ignore you. Most of the time, you may also look unapproachable to them when you really want to speak up. This is not even your fault. Most people do not take notice of their body language, and so they do not realize what's wrong with it. For example, you may have a resting, rude face or a hunching position with crossed arms, which you may have never noticed. Luckily, working on body language to look approachable is not that difficult. Firstly, try to be relaxed when you talk to people. Then there are numerous body language exercises available that can help you. You can even ask your close friends and family to examine you. Number 1, you lack empathy. What do social gatherings have to do with empathy? A lot. Empathy is a willingness to comprehend and experience another's emotions. A lack of empathy can easily cause us to unconsciously devalue or disregard the feelings of others around us. As a result of this, People may feel disregarded, undervalued, and unheard, so they may look past you in social gatherings. If you really want to ramp up your social gathering games, you will have to acknowledge their emotions, understand their opinion, and respect their perspective. Once you start empathizing with them, they will start talking to you more. Well, there you have it. 8 subconscious habits that make you feel unapproachable. Fortunately, each of these flaws has a remedy, and with just a little effort, you can easily overcome all these shortcomings. Here's to you.